Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to talk for just a couple minutes today about looking for answers in a frantic or urgent mind. We all fall into this sometimes, but I wanted us to kind of take a closer look to explore this incredibly common phenomenon of believing an urgent, high stakes, serious mind and trying to actually give it what it wants. So let's start with just what a normal, healthy, perfectly evolved human mind tends to do. These adorable little minds of ours, they love to demand resolution. So a mind will take whatever's arising. So just this moment, life arising as this. And it will come in with all its conditioning and its programming and its learning, and it will add this overlay of urgency, seriousness, high stakes, something's going wrong. And then what it does, which is so adorable, and it's no fault of the mind, it's just how it's evolved. It kind of says, you gotta have resolution and then you can relax. You've gotta have resolution to this problem I've just created, and then I'll let you relax. And we fall for it. We all fall for this age-old trick of believing, if I could just find that answer, if I could just resolve this one issue, this one thing, oh, my mind will finally back off and let me relax. My mind will finally settle and I'll relax. And it's like the biggest cosmic joke because the mind is not designed to stop wanting resolution. So even if you get that nice little hit, that brief reprieve from finding a solution or giving your mind resolution, the mind is already one step ahead of you, coming up with the next thing that needs to be solved, the next problem you've got to resolve so that you can relax. And we fall for it again and again. So the mind comes in and says, this is urgent. This is serious. You've got to make a decision and the stakes are high. And it looks so real and compelling because we're all just sort of in this trance, believing everything we've ever been taught, believing all the conditioning of our adorable human minds. And we do what we only have been taught to do, which is work so hard to go into the mind, use our intellect, use our logic, use that energy of urgency and that energy of desperation to try to find the solution. But guess what? That is not ever where solutions are found. Those why questions and those how-to questions. How do I stop this habit? Why do I keep doing this habit? How do I decide which medical treatment? How do I ... How do I? Why do I? The answers are never in the mind, never. They're not there. And even if that adorable little sneaky ninja mind comes in with some little ideas, and you go, oh, phew, thank God, I have an idea, I'm going to do it. You'll get a respite. You'll get a minute of reprieve, a day of reprieve. But because you've gone back into the mind, back into the mind, back into the mind, it just sort of fortifies the mind like, yes, let's keep going. And so what do we do? What is the answer? Where are the answers to all these questions? And as I was telling a client earlier today, the best I can see is that the answers to those urgent, desperate, really high stakes, ramped up questions, they're found in presence. They're found in the breath. They're found in that space, that dimension that is just beyond the intellect. I go back to Thich Nhat Hanh and this beautiful sort of breath meditation that I learned. And it goes something like this. As I inhale, I just recite silently. Inhaling, I am aware of inhaling. And then as I exhale, I say in my mind, I say silently in my heart, exhaling, I surrender. And then for short, sometimes I'll just inhale and say inhaling. And I just watch my breath. And as I exhale, I just say surrendering. So let's try it together. And just notice if you do have a burning question that your mind is convincing you needs resolution. This is an easy one. This is so simple. I should say simple. It's not always easy at first because we're so conditioned to go to our mind for answers. But in a minute, as we do the inhaling, exhaling, I want you to just notice how that adorable mind will kind of sneak in sometimes like through the back door and be like, yeah, but this actually does need a resolution. This actually does need an answer by 2 p.m. today. Just notice. It's so cute. It's so persistent. But we want to stop feeding that mind. We want to stop feeding the gremlins after midnight. We want to lose interest in that demanding, grabby mind. And as we lose interest, the mind can still do whatever it does. It can still tell all its scary stories and give all its demands for resolution. But as we lose interest, we will find ourselves more often in peace, in presence, in that space where answers are found. So let's try it together. Simply inhale. Inhaling, I'm aware of inhaling. And exhale. Exhaling, I surrender. Inhaling, I'm aware of inhaling. Exhaling, I surrender. And just notice when the mind wants to grab your attention, and you can just say a simple no, thank you. Thank you, mind, but no. And one kind of cool thing you may discover is that as you start losing interest in the mind, or as you kind of say that simple no, thank you to the stories and the demands and the urgency, you might feel actually an increase in tension in the body. Because the mind will be like, no, really, 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 this does need your attention. And it's so adorable and not so adorable. And you really may start to notice the tension in your body sort of elevate, get a little louder. But that is great news, guys. That is great news. That's not a problem. That's not something to be solved. That's something to be noticed. Oh, you're onto the mind. That tension rising up is that ego, that persistent mind beginning to dissolve. So when you say your simple no, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not going to give you resolution today. No, please, please, just research this one last thing. No. Notice how the tension will increase most likely. And you could give thanks for that. You could be grateful for that increase in tension. That increase in tension when your body's doing this is the good work of that ego dissolving, that insistent, persistent mind losing its grip. So don't be worried. Don't be too meddling and getting involved as that tension rises. Just notice, oh, the good work's happening. I wanted to leave you with a poem I wrote yesterday about this losing interest and the mind's need for answers and falling back into the space of presence, awareness, the breath, where answers will arise. They will become apparent in perfect time, not in the time of your ego, not in the timing of that grabby little mind, but in perfect time, things will unfold, and it's trustworthy. So here's the poem. It's called The Spell is Broken. And I wrote this yesterday. The low-level buzz calls out to be heard. The volume is low, but the pull to listen is strong. There's a demand that a fortress be built, an army conscripted, a 4-star vigilance to man the front lines. There are problems to solve, mountains to climb, enemies to conquer. Urgency arrives with its weapons drawn, battle ready as the volume grows louder. All investment and attention goes to the one with the loudest and most compelling voice. And then, by grace, attention is diverted just for a moment, and the spell is broken. The movie plays on, of course. Mountains and enemies remain. Urgency and vigilance hold their ground. The fortress continues its fortification. But they're all seen for what they are. Shadows dancing in the moonlight. Wisps of air blowing innocently through an endless sky. Overlays of silken costumes on the one aliveness that loves to play dress up. So interest in the weapons fades. Desire to stay in the battle wanes. And the peace and the joy that were there all along draws our focus to the truth, to light, to freedom, to peace. There are no answers in a frantic or urgent mind. I promise you. The more frantic or urgent the request of that little ego, that little voice in the head, the clearer it is to return to the breath, return to presence, return to simply this, life arising as this now. Thanks so much, guys. I hope this helps. I'll see you soon. Bye.